Hi everyone. We are having this session to discuss about a very important module of Smart Tech Automation System, and this module basically relates to data management. So whenever you're doing a campaign or you're targeting an audience, by sending them a template or by sending them any kind of communication, it's very important for you to decide, okay, what is going to be your target audience, what is the behavior of the audience, and whether the content that I'm sending to them is important or not. So this and many more questions which you have in your mind with respect to data would be solved in this particular session. So uh, as you all know, the data tab in the Smartic panel is over here, and here we have two things: a contacts overview and a contact system where you have options to import the contacts, segment them as per their behavior, delete the contacts, blacklist them, create any data aspect attributes, and maintain your data table. So we'll discuss each one of them step by step. The first thing, let's see what's the data contact overview. So here you can see basically how many contacts so far you have added into your platform. And these are unique contacts. This is divided, the complete data structure is divided into two sections. One is a database which is identified, and the other one is database which is anonymous. So when I say identified, what do I mean? Right? So as you can see, there's a small information given over here, which is primary key information. Now, a primary key basically is nothing but a unique contact identifier. To make it very simple, basically it's the information through which an entity understands or identifies its objects. So let's take an example of a bank. How does a bank identify its customer? So this is through account number or a customer identification number, which is unique for the customer. Or just take an example of a government body understands the subjects via the Aadhaar card number or maybe PAN number, right? Which is unique for the customers. So over here also, there are many cases where the primary key could be mobile number, could be email ID, could be a customer identification number. Depending on the business use case, you define your primary key. The reason being, whenever you are uploading a contact, if you do not have this primary key, you would not be able to upload the data in the system, right? So, and apart from primary key, there is another aspect which is attribute. That is basically the aspect data. Like if my primary key, let's say I take it as email, okay? But apart from that, what other identities do I have? Like my location, my name, my category, or my income. All these things can be attributed towards a particular primary key. Now, what are anonymous? So technically identified contacts are those for whom we have primary key, and anonymous contacts are those for whom we do not have the primary key. These contacts basically could be a source from a direct Google search visitor on your website, or someone who has directly downloaded a mobile app but has not yet registered. These contacts for us are anonymous. So far, they have not identified with their primary key information. And one very important piece of information, primary key cannot be changed once created. This generally gets discussed during the onboarding phase when a salesperson from Netpool would discuss the product with you. At that point of time, he would take your requirement, he would understand what's your unique business identifier, and accordingly, he would create the primary key for your panel, which cannot be changed once created. If you want to change it, then you will altogether have to change the complete panel. Cool. Now, let's see what are the modules in the database structure. So now we go back to the contact system over here, and here we can see all contacts. So all contacts basically is like a database structure which includes all the groups, list, segment, blacklisted contacts, and your master list itself. So here you can see, okay, whatever contacts you have so far imported into your system, everything gets collected in a single location, so that it also maintains a central repository, just like a CRM, of your contacts and their communication history. So if I want to see what communication history is of a particular customer, I can go to the details of a particular customer and I can find out that. Now, coming to the other aspect, so how do we use a database when we are doing a campaign? What is the purpose of importing the contacts over here? So we have a list structure. So when we upload or when we add any data into SmartTech platform, in order to give them an identification, in order to make them usable in a form of a list or just like a pre-save list, we create a name. That's basically a list name. Okay, I give a list name. Depending whether I want to include it or whether I want to filter this list from a campaign, I need to select normal or suppress. If I want to include the list in my database, I would select normal. If I want to exclude that or filter that database from my campaign, then I can use suppress. Description I can give as, it is not mandatory, but if you require, you can put a description also to it, and then click on create list. Now, here, how do I add the contacts? So there are three ways. Either I upload manually by creating a CSV Excel file. Second, I create an API automation, right, between my website, CRM, or any other source through an API and connecting that database with my SmartTech database. Third option is through SFTP, where I can dump as a client, I can dump the data on a secure FTP location, and from there the platform would pick up the data on regular intervals. So these three modes are there to take the data in the system. And also, of course, if there's an integration through a JavaScript with your website or through your mobile app, even that can be added over here. Now, in this case, for demo purpose, I am taking an example where I manually add the file into the system. Okay, so I click on add via file upload. Okay, now how do I add the file? So I'll just show you one sample file, a simple Excel file, something like this. Okay, so maybe if you want, I can just remove some data from this, okay, just to make it simpler. So there are two things. First of all, the primary key and then the attributes, as we discussed. So primary key would always be holding the first column of your CSV file. That's a mandatory rule. Okay, and the headers normally should be in uppercase, right? And whatever the primary key is, exactly that should be written over here. If it's so, generally for email it is EMAIL only. So that's how you have to keep it for email, or whatever is your primary key. Exactly the same way we have to put it over here as well. Okay, so I put this data over here, and attributes I can add it in the rest of the columns. It can be in any order, no issues. Just make sure that you do not put any space in the headers. For example, I want to put a last location. Okay, so I cannot put a space. I can just put an underscore maybe, and I can use this data over here. Okay, and then I can insert the data. This can be in any case, lowercase or uppercase, that is fine. But the header preferably should be in uppercase. And now a very important thing, how your file is going to be saved. So it should always be saved in comma delimited format, that is CSV format. The very basic option, CSV format, and no Macintosh, no MS-DOS, purely comma delimited. And once I create the file, I can upload that file over here. I click on proceed to attribute mapping, and I click on agree. Okay. Now here a small step we also need to include is, if at all we are adding any new attribute for the first time. Okay. So if I just go back to this file again. Okay, so any attribute which you're adding for the first time, name, location, voucher code, anything, there's a one-time requirement of defining that attribute by going to the attributes option. So ideally, if you come to this page, okay, if it is already defined once, it will just show it like this, you know. So I have already defined name, so it is showing me in this way. If I'm not using a defined attribute and I'm adding directly into the system, it will give me an option to create new on this page. Or if you don't want to get this option over here, then you can just go to attribute section, as I mentioned in the contacts attribute section, and here you can click on create new attribute and define it one time over here. And define its data type. Why this data type is very important? Because if tomorrow you're going to create a segment of customers who belong to same last location, or people who have same age group, or people who have, you know, date of birth in same range. So all these things, you know, need to have an appropriate operator so that you can create those queries. So for that, we need to define whether the data that I'm uploading into the system, is it a text, is it a date, is it an integer, or is it in a decimal? So I have to define this so that I can use them effectively in my segmentations. And I cannot change this. This is also a fixed thing. Once I define the attribute and its data type, I cannot change it. And here I can give a default value to my attribute. In case I don't have the values for these attributes, I can put the default value. Clear? Now over here, once I define the attributes, okay, and let's say assuming that attribute is defined, now what I can do is I can just click on save and add contacts over here, and my list will be uploaded. So it basically goes to the uploading process. Exactly whether it is uploaded or not, you can always go and check in the logs, either from here, or we can separately go in the admin section under MISC and under logs. Many times what happens when you upload a contact database, there could be some mistakes which you unknowingly might have made in the data creation file process. So here what you do is you check whether my data that I have uploaded has successfully been uploaded or not. So like normally it gives a green tick and it shows, okay, that some data has been uploaded. But at times at the next column, the reason of failure column, you would see certain error marks, exclamation marks, which would let you know few contacts were not uploaded. Now there could be two major reasons, or specifically three major reasons for this. One, a data type mismatch. So as I mentioned, during the attribute creation process, if I define an attribute with a certain data type, right? Let's say name I have defined as text line, or let's say for a better case, I have defined age as an integer. Okay. Now, if I define age as an integer during definition, and here let's say I put age as 25, and one I put as 30. Okay. Now this one is appropriate because I have defined age as an integer and this is in the right format. But this one is not in the right format. This is technically a text and not an integer. So in this case, I will get an error for these particular contacts who have been wrongly data tabled as mismatched data type. Okay, this is one case. Second case is where I get invalid data error, which means I have not used the correct, correct data, the correct format for my data. So, for example, the email address. If in case I have used like this, or if I have, let's say, remove just Gmail or Gmail, whatever. So this is basically an incorrect format of a data. Similarly for mobile, if I have used, let's say, only 6 numbers, this is an incorrect format. It's less than 10. So these things basically are tracked as incorrect data type, invalid data. The third type of error is harvest error, which is technically not a mistake on your end. It's just that the data which you have uploaded into the platform, data is huge, and there are possibilities that data might contain some spam trap IDs or some uh, hard bounce IDs, which Netcode being into the industry and doing mailing for approximately 15 plus years. And we know, okay, what IDs can be a possible spam trap IDs or possible fake IDs, which can definitely affect your domain. So there is a grooming process, or you can say a cleaning process, where this goes for a harvest. This generally gets removed within 20 to 30 minutes max, depending on the data size. Okay. And the fourth error, system error, is very rare. It seldom occurs, which automatically gets reselected. So these are the four things which you need to take care of. And if there are no issues, then your data would be uploaded within no time and would show a green tick over here. All right. Now, once you upload the data, you can use that list for your campaigns directly. Now let's move to the other aspect of using a data, which is through segmentation. A very crucial and very important aspect. A very important aspect where you create an audience from an existing list, okay, with some similarities in their behavior or their data type attributes. So here, if I want to create a segment, so consider a case where I have uploaded multiple lists into my platform, and I want to extract those customers for whom I have sent a campaign at least once in last 2 months, and they have opened it. Okay, and also apart from this, I want to add a condition that people who belong to, let's say, a particular city, let's say Mumbai, and people who belong to an age group of 20 to 30 years of age, if I want to include those as well, I can use that. In fact, even if my website is integrated with the SmartTech tool, I can use the website activities also over here to create segments. So the very basic step to create a segment is when I click on create segment, the first thing I need to select is my data pool, basically from which I am going to extract the segment. It could be, let's say I take example of a particular list, or let's say I take complete contact master itself. Okay, and out of that, so here one more thing. There are two things, anonymous and contact. Contact master basically includes your identified contacts, and anonymous master includes your anonymous contacts for whom we don't have any primary key information. So in case I want to select both of them, I can select both of them over here. Okay, I can select, do I want to match all the conditions or any of the conditions? And then I can start putting the conditions over here. First, let's say the age. So the attribute age, if I have uploaded into my system, and if the values are there, I can select the operator. So this is where the operator plays an important role. So for an integer, I would get a set of operators which are relevant to it. So greater than, less than, in between. So let's say I want to target people who are more than age of 25. And now I want to put a condition: people who have opened my emailers in the last 2 months, the emails which I have sent them. So I can select the activity over here, the broadcast. Let's say if I want to select any specific broadcast, or maybe any broadcast that I have sent and they have opened in the last 2 months. So here I can put the 60 days parameter. Okay. And here I use one more activity. Let's say my website or app activity. So people who have done registration on my website, or let's say a registration. Yeah, okay, yeah, I got it over here. Sorry. So we use this activity over here, and here also we can mention how many number of times. So registration normally is one time, but in how many days, I can put that over here. Let's say this also 60 days. And this is across any website or any source, maybe even app or website both. Okay, so I quickly added 3 of my conditions. Now people matching any or maybe all of these conditions, I can extract them over there if they are available. I can define a list, a segment name. Okay, and here basically I get a count also. Click on OK. And I get a count of my customers over here. So how many customers match any or all, whichever you select in the conditions. One block can have 5 conditions, and in total I can have 3 blocks. Technically I can have 15 conditions for one segment. Okay, so this is how I can build up my segment conditions. Many more aspects can also be added over here, like location capture. So depending on what kind of integration is there with your mobile or website or your mobile app, so we can select that option over here, last known location. Radius wise or geolocation wise, you can select that over here. You can just type the location. Let's say, for example, okay, and then I click on done. So I add both the locations, people who are there in Rajasthan as well as in Mumbai as well. Now, when I add this condition, I save the segment. I can use now either a segment for my campaign or I can use a list for my campaign. So both the things I can use it over here. Now, coming to the other section of my contacts, which is how to manage your database by deleting or blacklisting the contacts. So it's a simple process for deleting the contacts. Of course, the contacts first of all needs to be present in your database already. So what you can do is you can go to delete contacts over here, click on delete. Whether you're going to do a mass delete or a singular, you can select that. And whether you want to delete it from this list or maybe from a system, that means your complete contact master, you can select that option over here. upload the file of your contacts without any headers, right? And delete using, let's say, email, what's your primary key is, and process the system. Same way, if you want to blacklist the data, go to blacklist. So either you want to blacklist by using my primary key information, email or mobile, select that option over here. Since my primary key and email is both email only, so I select, let's say, primary key. So in this case, what will happen if I blacklist using primary key, then I would not be able to send the customer even an SMS or an email. In case I want to just send him mobile SMS but not email, in that case I can blacklist using email ID only. And here I can now put the reason and I can upload the file, or maybe if it's a multiple input, then I can add the numbers separated by comma and process it. Right, so these are things we can use it for managing a database. So guys, I think we have understood most of the aspects of data over here, and now you are, I think, pretty much familiar with the data management process in the platform. Still, any questions, any doubts, you can just ask us. We have an option of support over here. Connect with us on that part, and we can definitely work on that. Thanks for watching the video, and let's proceed for the next video. Thank you.